So the gameplay trailer for Sims 4 Adventure Awaits expansion pack just dropped, and they are featuring competitions like cooking competitions, an island survival getaway, and of course also camps. Now I will say this trailer didn't tell me tons more about the expansion pack beyond what we already know, but what I feel like it's really trying to do is something I saw them try to do in the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. In that trailer, they really showcased the cross-pack compatibility and also the flexibility of the system they're providing. Now this has pros and cons. I could see how you could use this pack for many reasons, and I really feel like that's what they're leaning into. On the other hand, it's only as good as the actual system is. But let's go ahead and get right into the trailer. What I noticed, like I said, it's not tons of new content, but I still think there is some interesting insights to gain. Now, as per usual, gameplay trailers are always narrated. This time, the gameplay trailer was narrated by an imaginary friend. Personally, I thought the narration was okay. Of course, it was a little bit childish, but I didn't mind it too much. And for this, we get to see how imaginary friends impact a Sim's life. They can play with them, and they also showed retro video games, which I felt was a really nice touch. Of course, we get to see the playground, which I feel like the playgrounds look fantastic. Now, the good news is, if your imaginary friend is driving you crazy, you can basically send them away. You can also say goodbye to them forever, or if you so choose, you can also, of course, make them into a real sim. All in all, these are great features. I know some people hate imaginary friends, but personally, I would be excited for this. I do like that you can actually send them away as long as it works properly. Now, most of the trailer, however, was focused on getaways, and like I said, this is really the main selling point of this pack. As you probably already know, there are pre-made venues which you can adjust to your liking, and these include both schedules and roles and competitions. It's up to you what kind of activities you want to add and if you want to add a competitive edge to it. With the competitions, I do see people having a lot of fun with this. I'm just not really sure how well it's going to go. And one of the pre-made venues you can download, of course, is a sleepaway camp for kids. They also mentioned a luxury bed and breakfast. I am curious to see how the bed and breakfast is going to work, but as I said before, I think bed and breakfast actually are a good idea in Sims 4. You can pick different durations, you can pick if it occurs weekly, etc. There are some other interesting elements in this trailer that I didn't fully catch. For example, kids attending camp might get a new mindset. There are also contests for kids. There is an archery contest, and while it's a little bit unclear what formative moments are, it supposedly is going to impact how a kid grows up. There's also chances to get a new trait through this. So all in all, it feels like it's very customizable. It feels like there is at least some substance and consequence to what you're doing, and to make this feel like a true expansion. That is, a system where you can use it in any world for so many different reasons. Of course, they did hint at some cross-pack compatibility. For example, if you owned Island Living, you could have a survival challenge combined apparently with vampires. I could see this being great for live streams and let's plays and that kind of content, and they probably are keeping that in mind. After all, past earnings calls actually mentioned competition and The Sims. That idea of competition in The Sims is being taken quite literally. As I said before, I feel like you can do a lot of this on your own, but if you feel like a system helps you do it and makes it more fun or entertaining, then this could definitely be a pack for you. As usual, I do want to go back a little bit more slowly because I tend to miss things and you are so great at catching them, and honestly, it's just more fun to chat about the specific images. And again, the playground to me looks absolutely fantastic. You can even see a sim peering out right here. My only critique of the playground is I really hope adult Sims can interact with these. It'd be so much fun to interact if you brought your kids or even, of course, childlike Sims. All in all, again, the playground is great. I'm not saying it's the main selling point of the pack, but definitely is looking pretty good. And I must admit, my admiration for the playground only continues. Honestly, these are the type of objects I expected to get with Growing Together, but it's great to come nonetheless. I will say, one thing I do wish more Sims 4 packs did was give us new items for landscaping. I feel like we always see the same trees and bushes and shrubs. That said, if you do see something new, let me know because I don't know if I'd recognize it, but all in all, I still feel like we could push that a little bit more. Admittedly, while not the most consequential, this is probably one of my favorite shots in the entire trailer. I love the retro feel, I love being able to play retro games showing my age, and these are the type of items I've been wanting in Sims 4. Again, I totally understand if this is not your style, that is totally fine, it's definitely very subjective, perspective. I also even like the rug there, the fish rug. I know that's silly, but some of these items just feel like they have a lot of personality. It's also really good that you can say goodbye to imaginary friends forever. I do hope there's an emotional moment there if you have built up a relationship. And honestly, again, I think this would be great for storylines. I understand if you hate imaginary friends, but obviously I really do like them, and this is a great addition for those people who want them. In addition, I just want to appreciate how scenic this is right here. I love the look of the stars. I know these are small details, but it definitely feels atmospheric. Don't get me wrong, I'm still pushing for some other worlds, including city-based worlds and a world based maybe in South Africa or some other country in Africa. But nonetheless, this does look well executed, and I think builders are going to have a lot of fun too. This appears to be a diorama or display of the town. It definitely looks interesting. I don't feel like there's actually going to be much to it. You probably can just view it and move on. We also do know there are going to be quests in this pack and things to do and some type of lore to unpack. At this point, this is pretty much standard for an expansion pack, so it's always interesting to see how it's executed. And while seemingly random to some, I do appreciate the new fitness equipment. I do understand why some people think fitness equipment should not be in this pack, but again, as I argued before, I feel like it does work for the theme, even if you do wish it came earlier, which all of that of course is valid. All in all, I think the new animations look great too. One thing I will say is a lot of packs don't come with tons of new animations, and I definitely see they put in some resources for that too. Even though I am very skeptical of some elements of this pack, I definitely still feel like I can feel the effort that was put into it and the reasons they made some of these decisions. And of course, this right here is the UI for the challenges. One thing I am concerned about is right now, UI in The Sims 4 is really cluttered, and I do wonder if this is going to be obnoxious, but it does look interesting. So for this romantic competition, there's obviously a set schedule for sleeping, eating breakfast, enjoying the outdoors, having dinner, and mixing and mingling. I could see again how this could be good for challenges, and I could see this being great for streaming, which I do feel like the Sims team had in mind when they developed this pack. And of course, let's examine this a little bit more closely. As we can see here, you can plan a getaway, and you can select a schedule preset. I do like that there are these schedule presets because I feel like this might be less overwhelming. On the other hand, it's also great you can create your own. As we see here, just a few of them are fitness retreat, outdoor kids camp, romantic competition, cooking competition, a cozy bed and breakfast, which I am personally excited about, a senior living community, and a teen popularity contest. So it is a mix of retreats and contests. This is not something I expected to get both competitions and also retreats. And of course, this right here is the template for the outdoor camp for kids. This includes sleeping, having breakfast, papercraft, eating outdoors, water activities, a campfire, and sleep. Again, really great. And I will say, some people are worried about this being a rabbit hole, but definitely does not look that way. And while I am glad it is active, of course, I just hope it functions as it's supposed to. One thing I do worry about is Sims actually following this and behaving as they should. On the other hand, one thing I don't like about this is how scripted out it is. While I do understand why scripting it out is useful, I also feel like it cuts in the organic moments. And one aspect I like about Sims as a franchise is having a lot of those organic moments. As we can see here, a formative moment is into archery as a kid, and as an adult, they will remain focused for longer. Again, these are just small perks, they're not really dramatic, but in other words, at least there are some consequences for what you experience. Rest assured, I'm sure someone will be talking about lot sizes. Personally, I can't tell, I'm not that good at it. There of course is the national park of sorts in the middle, there is a lighthouse. All in all, this looks like a semi-interesting map. I'm not saying it's the most exciting ever, but it also does look more interesting in my humble opinion than the past few worlds. If you have cats and dogs, you can do dog training. If you have get to work, you can do a corporate retreat. Island living, you can do an off-the-grid survival. Get together in parenthood, childcare, spa day, refreshing spa getaway, and fitness stuff, ultimate fitness boot camp. Like I said, for some reason, this pack reminds me a lot of business and hobbies. Even though this has lots of similarities, I do feel more compelled. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Again, it seems like they're really focusing on bringing content that promotes sharing and also buying other packs. But I will say it also looks pretty fun, and I do like the gameplay items. So again, let me know what you think about all this. Again, I have mixed emotions. Let me know yours, and I'll see you in the next video.